Life itself is art. No two persons are the same. We all live, think, receive, and perceive life in varying ways. That is all the proof we need to conclude that life is art. Art is subjective. It does not fit in a box, and even when framed, it is open to infinite interpretations. So too is life, abstract, complex, yet still the rewards of a life well lived are incomparable. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. In recognizing how artistic life is, we'll go on what I'm dubbing an art walk across varying disciplines. The news is up first.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, May 10, 2022. 3 major contracts have been signed to advance the build-out of government's broadband network for the public sector, GovNet. One contract is for fiber optic expansion with the National Works Agency at a cost of over $895,000. IQ Tech Solutions Limited is to provide active network equipment valuing more than $2.6 million, and Cable and Wireless Jamaica will provide customer premises equipment for over $251,000. GovNet's project manager in the Transformation Implementation Unit, Luke Jackson, says completion of the project is expected by the end of the financial year.
The core of the network that we are implementing, we refer to it as GovNet Core, and it's a switching and managing segment of the network that it would entail connecting 13 sites across the Kingston metropolitan area, stretching from Kingston all the way to Portmore and Spanish Town. Well, the preparatory work for those sites began about 5 months ago, and I would say that's probably 95% completed.
GovNet is the underlying platform that provides a secure network for all ministries, departments, and agencies of government. The build-out of several major health infrastructure projects is progressing this year. These include Cornwall Regional Hospital, where work has commenced on Phase 2B, which is expected to cost $1.7 billion. This involves remedial work to deal with structural defects present in the building.
The ministry has also received cabinet approval for the use of design and build for the implementation of the final phase, Phase 3.
Government is also spending $100 million this year to complete preparatory work for the construction of the 250-bed Western Children and Adolescent Hospital, which is expected to resume in June after being delayed due to COVID.
What that means, Madam Speaker and colleagues, is that Western Jamaica, Montego Bay, St. James the Parish is slated to have the highest concentration of hospital beds anywhere in the Caribbean and the only adolescent and children hospital in the Caribbean.
Internal design works costing $31 million are being done for the 6-story towers to be constructed at the University Hospital of the West Indies. And the US $50 million IDB project for the new Spanish Town Hospital will be put to tender this month, with construction expected to begin late this year or early in 2023. Meanwhile, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says he will be lobbying international partners for the training of local healthcare professionals to reduce the impact of migration within the sector. This is to be done next month when Dr. Tufton chairs the Commonwealth Health Ministers meeting in London, as well as at the World Health Assembly to follow in Switzerland. Minister Tufton says Jamaica has been feeling the effect of mass recruitment of the island's professionals by more industrialized countries.
As we build out our infrastructure to improve the work environment and offer security of tenure to replace contract employment, Jamaica must also provide global leadership on the issue of scarcity of labor and the need for global collaboration around training and flexible contracts to promote cross-border service delivery of healthcare services.
There are now less than 5% of active criminal cases in a state of backlog in the parish courts. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says 72.8% of criminal cases filed in the parish courts are being resolved within a year, and 88.4% of cases are disposed of within 24 months. In the civil division of the parish courts, the average time for clearance is 12 months, with 75.6% of cases being completed within that time and approximately 88% within 24 months. The minister says fewer than 5% of active civil cases are in a state of backlog, and the average time taken to dispose of cases in the specialized family courts is now 10 months.
This is a major accomplishment of the judiciary. We have situations where for the past number of years, Madam Speaker, most of the parishes are completing more cases than are actually being filed. So that in most of the parishes, for every 100 cases that actually are filed, more than 100 cases are actually cleared up.
The Justice Minister was making his contribution to the 2022-23 sectoral debate in Parliament recently. The 9th staging of the Jamaica Diaspora Biennial Conference in June will serve as a call to action for Jamaicans across the world. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, says persons are being called on to use collective experiences, knowledge, social, human, and economic capital to transform Jamaica. She was speaking at the global launch of the conference on Friday.
With your help, we will exceed the target of 5,000 registered participants, setting the stage for wider engagement and harnessing the true potential of all of us, both at home and abroad.
Among the areas of discussion are digital public service delivery, digital skills for the general workflow, digital infrastructure, cybersecurity, and reliable secure data flows.
We invite our diaspora members and the public and private sector to consider these issues in their respective deliberations. These discussions will allow Jamaica to position herself more strategically in the global political economy.
And finally, consumers of 200 kilowatt hours of electricity or less should be seeing a reduction in their bills this month with the start of the GOJ Energy Copay program. The program, which will run from May to August, is a government initiative to cushion the impact of increased energy prices on vulnerable segments of the population. Government's 20% contribution to postpaid customers of the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, will be reflected in red on their bills. Prepaid customers will receive $3,000 top-up credit monthly over the 4-month period. This will be delivered to your smart meter if you have one, or to your mobile phone by text message. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, says the process is automatic and therefore no application is required.
Approximately 379,000 Jamaican households will benefit from the Government of Jamaica Energy Copay program at a cost of approximately $2 billion. This forms part of the Government of Jamaica's social assistance initiatives. The government will continue to monitor and respond as appropriate within the boundaries of its fiscal capacity.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up.
Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence.
A whole way of celebrating it. They say the people them, you know, them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, but no, them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal panta for it, you know.
Medal.
Amount of tongue we give them, you know.
The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report.
I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it pre. Activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration.
Yeah. If you download the app to get the updates then.
The Prime Minister is constantly working to skillfully craft an economy and society that will make Jamaica the place of choice for families and businesses alike. Here's how that agenda was advanced in the last week.
$3.6 billion Portmore Informatics Park opens.
contract signed for digitizing of public records, and
the government of Jamaica will not pull down the zone of special operations in Denham Town to give space to criminals.
You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan. Prime Minister Andrew Holness officially opened the Portmore Informatics Park last Thursday. The $3.6 billion complex with 157,000 square feet of space was built by the Port Authority of Jamaica. The buildings house 4 business process outsourcing companies that already employ over 2,000 persons. Mr. Holness says government has put plans in place to make Portmore the epicenter of Jamaica's knowledge-based economy. With the highest concentration of university graduates, the Prime Minister says Portmore's business process outsourcing sector will be the base.
It is in furtherance of our priority as a government to support the global services sector. And more importantly, it aligns with our strategic objectives to develop Jamaica's newest parish and to enable its citizens to thrive.
Prime Minister Holness also revealed that plans are ongoing to make Portmore the 15th parish.
The people who live in Portmore have a distinct experience, and they see themselves as distinct, as discrete from the rest of the society. And indeed, Portmore's experience is quite different from the rest of St. Catherine.
On Friday, the Prime Minister was in Hermitage, Augustown, to deliver a 2-bedroom unit to Joanna Paul, the latest recipient under the new social housing program NSHP. The unit was constructed in 4 weeks at a cost of nearly $5.5 million.
We're getting better at bringing to market houses that are affordable at the price point that persons who are low income or affordable income categories could afford.
So far, 64 units have been delivered under the NSHP. 55 units are under construction, while another 84 are being programmed. Mr. Holness used his visit to Augustown to address recent confrontations between citizens and security forces in the Denham Town Zone of Special Operations. The Prime Minister says several discussions have been had and instructions given to the security forces to address the matter. Mr. Holness says he will also be visiting the area shortly to meet with residents and security forces working in the space.
The government of Jamaica will never in any way empower our security forces to abuse our citizens. And I want that to be absolutely clear and understood. And I think everyone who wears a uniform and is under oath to serve and protect must understand that directive of the government. We must be serving and protecting our citizens.
The Prime Minister was quick to urge citizens to allow the security forces to do their jobs by abiding with lawful requests.
I'm appealing to our citizens as well, that how we behave towards the security forces, that has to change as we seek to build this more caring, this more loving, less aggressive society.
Mr. Holness also urged citizens to report challenges with the security forces to the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM. Back at Jamaica House Friday, Prime Minister Holness signed a contract with Fujitsu Limited to digitize 2 million records relating to births, deaths, marriages and adoptions at the Registrar General's Department RGD. The signing is part of the government's digitization program to pave the way for the implementation of the National Identification System NIDS. Mr. Holness says the digitization will allow for greater verification and documentation to preserving the records at the RGD.
As the society becomes more sophisticated and complex, in order to reduce the complications of accountability, security, and in these days security is a big concern, you have to introduce technology.
And the Prime Minister closed out his week by attending the launch of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Conference.
Over the course of this year, and as we have our celebrations, we must use this opportunity to truly thank commend, acknowledge, embrace, pay respect to, and display our love for our diaspora. As they continue to support Jamaica, even as they work in their new homes, they continue to ensure that we who are back at home can survive.
The 2022 staging of the Jamaica Diaspora Summit will be held from June 14 to 16 at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade in downtown Kingston. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
Greetings, my fellow Jamaicans. The war in Ukraine has led to a global rise in the prices of energy commodities such as oil. This is beyond the control of anyone in Jamaica. Unfortunately, however, the rise in the price of oil has negatively impacted energy prices in Jamaica. Electricity bills have gone up. To cushion the impact of increased energy prices on vulnerable segments of the Jamaican population, the government of Jamaica has introduced the GOJ Energy Copay program, which is now in effect. For JPS postpaid customers who consumed 200 kilowatt hours of electricity or less in April 2022, your bill for May 2022 will reflect a contribution of 20% of the April 2022 expenditure. This contribution from the Government of Jamaica will be itemized in red on your bill. This GOJ Energy Copay will continue for a period of 4 months. That is, for JPS bills invoiced in May, June, July, and August 2022 on electricity consumption in the previous month, where this consumption is 200 kilowatt hours or less, these bills will reflect a GOJ Energy Copay contribution of 20%. This will be automatic and no application is necessary. Furthermore, for JPS prepaid customers who purchased electricity in April, you will receive an automatic $3,000 top-up contribution from the Government of Jamaica. This top-up will be delivered to your smart meter if you have one, or to your mobile phone by text message. Active JPS prepaid customers will receive this $3,000 top-up credit monthly for the 4 months of May, June, July, and August 2022. Approximately 379,000 Jamaican households will benefit from the Government of Jamaica's Energy Copay program at a cost of approximately $2 billion. This forms part of the Government of Jamaica's Social Assistance Initiative. The Government of Jamaica will continue to monitor and respond as appropriate within the boundaries of its fiscal capacity. God bless you, and God bless Jamaica.
Edgar Degas said, "Art is not what you see, but what you make others see." In this instance, art is also what you can make for others to wear.
Droplets of beads, creatively designed metals, painted wood, all handcrafted to adorn the neck, face, or limbs. Made from natural resources found on the island, local costume jewelers are designing a niche for economic empowerment.
Natural handbands. These are like from Lucky Seeds and RSI, and these bracelet is from copper with seed mixed in. And we have bamboo handband. We have leather handband over here, and we have wallets, sandals, and pipes and chalices. Natural, all handmade right here in Jamaica. I'm doing this business for over 40 years now. I've traveled all over the world, and this is the business that I do. This is my living, and I'm very proud of it. I was working at the post office for 18 years, but in the 18 years at the post office, I learned this trade. I'm self-taught. That's what I love about this. I think about a creative piece, and I manifest it with my hands. And that's what I love about it, manifesting what I think.
So we have two lines here. We have one called the Heavenlies, and then we also have another line that's completely made out of paper, crafted from scratch, hand-painted by a fine artist and varnished. And that one is called Inspired by Nature. And if you look at it, you'll see things that remind you of sunsets or hillsides and mountainous reliefs and fruits and flowers. We have some freshwater pearls, we have shells, we have upcycled, I would say, materials that we used to make the earrings, so paper. So, and we do a lot of seeds and shells. I work a lot with shells. So those sorts of things. I'm telling you this, we don't know how rich we are. We're a very rich country. I'd love if we could concentrate on developing our skills and using our local product and advance. We are so rich that it's confusing sometimes to see what we're doing. So much stupid things. Killing each other, robbing each other. We don't have to do that. We have everything here. So we need to just concentrate and focus and be positive and use the things that we have, because we have a lot. Just be more mindful of what you're doing every day and what you're using every day. You know, paper instead of plastic, that's kind of, you know, the stereotypical answer, but really thinking about where you're buying your products. Are you buying things that are locally made? Are you buying things that are imported more than the locally made?
Art is inclusive. It's an expression, a universal language, one without boundaries and one that breaks communication barriers. What you'll view next is evidence that it can make what is seen as impossible into a masterpiece.
Yes, persons like Christoph, Kimberly, and Damani dance. And despite nature's act of removing a seemingly valuable aspect of their senses, these three are pursuing a certificate in dance at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, but not without some challenges.
Well, my experience here, at first, when the three of us just arrived, we were a bit awkward in terms of communicating, but then we were able to learn from each other, learning from the hearing students, and we were able to, we had issues as well with the rhythm, keeping up with the rhythm at all times, but then we were eventually able to catch up and we started to improve gradually. So for me, my main issue is timing. So I try to work along closely with the other students in the class and the teacher as well, and then eventually I'm able to catch up with the timing in terms of the music. So my challenge during class, it's really to ensure that my body is moving with the timing and the music.
Deaf dancers do move on the beat and in one accord with the rhythm, but the surprising element in this for most persons is just how are they able to, or even why did they choose dance?
I hear a little of the music and I can feel the vibration on the floor as well. So it's not that bad for me. So I use that method throughout.
With his sense of touch heightened through his loss of hearing, Damani can interpret the music through the vibrations he feels. Deaf dancers are visual learners, so for them, Their instructors sign the moves or the counts. While other dancers are busy remembering the details of the moves, those like Damani, Kimberly, and Christoph are counting, keeping time, and watching keenly what their hearing peers are doing so they can interpret the steps.
So I chose to study dancing because dancing is my life. It's my passion ever since. So I want to learn more and more about dancing. I don't want to give up. I don't want to stop. I want to continue. Because my goal is to become a dancer in the future. So when I'm finished at Endemani College, I want to become a dancer and I want to perform around the world. So my goal is to become a dance teacher so that I can empower younger deaf children who really love dancing and empower them so that they can, be as good as I am. It's their turn.
But for acting dean at the School of Dance, being deaf is not the biggest obstacle for becoming a great dancer.
I don't want to describe what we have as challenges. I want to describe them as opportunities to learn. But fundamental to dance is the ability to demonstrate and for the dancer to use their eyes and observe and learn the experience in a visual way and then demonstrate what it is that they have been taught. I think one of the interesting things about the deaf students is that their other senses are heightened, and so they're able to access the information in other ways and quite differently from the hearing students. So it's very interesting to see the learning dynamics, but the end result and the objective or the learning outcome of the experience are still achieved. And we're very happy about that because ultimately we want them to succeed.
And while for the school it is the first time opening its gates to persons like Christoph, Kimberly, and Damani to study dance,
they're eager to receive the information and we're inspired by this drive to learn and to succeed. So even though we have an interpreter, the interpreter is also learning from the experience because we have interpreters who have never been in a school environment like this where dance is concerned, so they're also learning new language. It somehow feels as though they've brought more to us.
For many of the deaf community, the fear of fitting in lingers. But for Christoph, Kimberly, and Damani, dancing is passion-driven and determination-ruled.
Well, I hope that what we've done here at the Endemani College in terms of opening our doors to 3 deaf students will encourage others and inspire them to go after their dreams.
So I remember in high school, there was a quote that says, "I believe I can achieve." I go by that. So in the Bible, it talks about, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I believe I can achieve.
Art is standing with one hand extended into the universe and one hand extended into the world, and letting ourselves be a conduit for passing energy. That's a quote from Albert Einstein. Be that conduit. Be a canvas. Paint, draw, dance, sing, write, create, share. Whichever one you choose, share your passion, talent, skill. Share your art and make an impact. And be sure to share them with us on our social media platforms. We too would love to be a part of your audience as you are ours. It was a pleasure walking with you today. The hardworking team here at the JIS thanks you for your continued viewership. And until next time, I'm Theodore Henry. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.